Good morning. Welcome to this morning's session from EcoProd. I am just going to give this a moment or two so our participants can join from the waiting room. So just give me a moment. Okay, I can see that we've got people joining successfully from the waiting room. So our topic this morning is reducing water and energy consumption using the Xeros washing machine system. Before we get going with the kind of core of the presentation, a few housekeeping points. We are recording the session today. So once we are finished, we will get this processed and you will get an email probably tomorrow morning that gives you a link to the full video and a copy of the slides. So all of the materials that we're using here today will be available to you at a later date, and you can watch those back. You can also share those with colleagues, etc. Please do ask questions. So there is a little Q&A button in the bottom of the Zoom window. If you use that Q&A button, please pop questions in there as we are going along. I am covering the questions and the chat today, so I will answer what I can in the background. But at the end of the formal presentation, we will all stay on the line and I'll read those questions out and we'll have a bit of a discussion, etc., on your behalf. You'll have seen the agenda for today. So we are going to literally go through how the Xeros washing machines work, why they use less water, how they cut energy and detergent use, and how they protect garments and give longevity to materials. We've got some results, including a case study and a kind of return on investment analysis. And, talking a little bit about the sort of specialist areas where these washing machines can work. And then, as I said, we throw it open to questions for you. You have got four of us on the panel today. So my name is Rachel. I'm on the business development team at EcoProd. I'm mostly in the background today, kind of covering questions and admin and that kind of thing. You have my colleague Marcus from EcoProd, and we have Ian and Stephen from Xeros, but I will let each of them introduce themselves. So, Marcus?
Yeah, thank you, Rachel. Good morning to everyone that's joined us today. We thank you for your time and hopefully we can deliver an interesting webinar for you. Just to give the audience some idea about my background, I'm actually the founder and director of EcoProd. My training and trade is mechanical and electrical services. I've been related to building services all my working life, and I tend to be the person within the company that gets involved in R&D and innovation with the manufacturers we represent here in the UK. Over to you, Ian.
Ian Hewitt, Business Development Manager for Xeros. Been in chemicals for most of my life, since 2000. Joined Xeros just after Christmas. Very excited by the technology that's on offer with Xeros. Previous to that, Royal Navy as a mechanic. So yeah, a bit like Marcus, got a mechanical background. Over to you, Stephen.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Stephen Hayes. I'm the Category and Marketing Director here at Xeros. My background is very much trade, category and product marketing from a consumer electronics background. And I also spent 12 years at a major white goods laundry business.
So just to give the audience a bit of background as to EcoProd, the name stands for Ecological and Economical Product. The whole emphasis at EcoProd is water saving. We have three pillars that we base everything we do on: is use less water, so that's efficiency, waste less water, and then recycle and reuse more water. The whole ethos at EcoProd is also about longevity of product. So the image you'll see on the screen there is the life cycle promise from EcoProd. We engage with our clients on a consultative process. We look at where your water comes from, how it's used, where it goes, and then we work with customers to plug in solutions in all of the cycle of water use within their company. We do also represent the water companies here in the UK, across the whole of the nation, and we like to work with them to understand their challenges, which they all have. And I think what you'll find in the Xeros technology actually augments both water use and wastewater complications that water companies have. On the screen there, you can see some of the existing clients we have here in the UK. We would represent these customers directly sometimes, and a lot of the time we actually work with facilities management groups. You've got Mighty there and CBRE on the screen, who we've worked with for many years, where we help them actually increase their service level of supply and promise to their customer base by working with them with our solutions. We also spend a lot of time with the manufacturers we represent here in the UK, working with them on R&D, product innovation, product benefits. All of them, those companies in their own right, have a very strong ESG policy, and I think that's very complementary to everything we represent as EcoProd here in the UK. I now hand over to Stephen.
Thank you, Marcus. So first of all, what is the Xeros washing system? Well, what it is actually unique technology that delivers significant benefits. Now, what I mean about significant benefits, it's significant environmental benefits, but also cost-saving benefits to the business as well. So unique groundbreaking technology that will actually prolong the lifespan of garments, but will also reduce water, energy, and also detergent consumption, but will also deliver improvements in wash performance as well. So for example, on the savings that can be achieved, we can save up to 70% in water, up to 50% in energy saving, and also 50% in detergent saving as well. So clearly the environmental benefits are clear there, fantastic benefits on every single cycle. But in addition to that, it's not just about the environmental benefits, it's also about the cost saving benefits as well. So we know the cost of water, the cost of energy, and also the cost of detergent is increasing all of the time. So with those kind of percentage savings, you can really get some brilliant cost saving benefits within the business as well. So I mentioned there was improvements in wash performance as well. So as we go on with the presentation, Ian and I will go into each of these areas in a little bit more detail to explain how this will work and how it actually performs within the system. But alongside wash performance, we can actually achieve fabric care extension as well. So less shrinkage, less creasing, less transfer damage, color fade, and also dye transfer as well. So that's the overall kind of benefits that can be delivered. And I'll just hand over to Ian, who will explain exactly how that will work.
Good morning, everybody. So the way the system works is we've got a bespoke machine, which is very much like a traditional commercial laundry machine. The only difference being we've got the exorbs going into the drum. These exorbs here are little polymer beads that are released automatically into the drum by the X drum, which is in the back of the machine. And then they go through the wash cycle, and then they reduce the water, and then they get harvested back into the back of the drum to be used again, ready to be used again. It's all done automatically, so there's no tipping or touching in these exorbs at all. And there should be none left in the drum afterwards. So when your clothes come out, they're all nice and clean, all ready to go, and the exorbs are back, ready to be used again for the next time. And the machine can be used on loads of different cycles to benefit for the like a traditional washing machine.
So it's a system that's actually within the machine when you purchase the machine. So it's incorporated within it in totality.
Is the slide going to move on?
I don't know. I think you need to exit out of this. It's not playing ball. Just click somewhere higher up. No. Oh, the best laid plans. It worked earlier, didn't it?
So hopefully everyone can see the principle of the system with the Xorbs actually getting released into the drum. And it's really the power of the Xorbs which act like tiny hands to massage the garments, as it were, and also achieve the benefits that Ian's going to go through now. So I think, as Rachel said, you'll be able to see the video in its entirety later on, and perhaps gain a little bit more kind of visibility on that as well to explain the system.
So thanks, Stephen. The way the system works is on a traditional wash, you've got a full circle. Say that full circle is your 100%. So you've got 25% of it is the temperature, 25% of it is chemistry, 25% is the time, 25% of it is the mechanical action. Well, if we elongate any of those, so with the Xorbs, we're elongating the mechanical action. As Stephen said, the beads gently massage the clothes, so we can reduce the time, we can reduce the temperature, and we can reduce the chemical action. So the Xorbs, as they go around the machine, they, instead of the clothes rubbing together to shed fibers, the Xorbs create like a massaging effect, and as they go into the fabrics, they help to open up the fabrics to release all that their stains. So again, the chemical action is less, but the mechanical action is more. So you can reduce everything else on that as well. And there's no user intervention; it's all done automatically within the machine. So we reduce the water by up to 70% depending on the cycle. So the Xorbs replace the water. So the machine has a level, a water level. So if you're putting more Xorbs in there, the water level is less because the Xorbs replacing the water. So we can reduce that by up to 70%. But the gentler nature of the Xorb reduces the microfiber shedding by about 50% compared to regular machines. So the fabrics are not rubbing together to shed all those fibers as well. By reducing the time and the temperature, we can also reduce the energy costs as well. So we're putting in cold water rather than hot water. We recommend about 40 degrees. So we're not powering up the machine. We're not putting the heating elements on as much. The time of the wash is less as well. So we can reduce the energy costs on that as well. With detergent, we can also reduce the detergent because the Xorbs are doing more mechanical action. The water level is lower, so we're not going to dilute the chemicals. My background is in chemicals, so we work really closely with lots of chemical manufacturers to make sure that you've got the optimum performance at your product. And we work closely with them. We give you a detergent, or we can recommend a detergent that will work on colder temperatures as well. So you get the maximum benefit from that. Most of our chemical manufacturers give you your dosing equipment free on loan as well, so there's no outlay for dosing equipment as well, and we'll make sure that they're completely serviced to give you the optimum performance from your detergent each time. So the Xeros machine, as we said, it gives you less shrinkage as well. So when the fibers are in a hot wash, the fibers open up, and as they go into the rinse cycle, they close up again. So if the cycle is not quite correct, that's when you get the shrinkage of the fibers opening and closing all the time. So with it being on a cold wash or cooler wash, the fibers aren't opening as much. Also with the Xorbs in there being gentle, they're massaging, like Stephen said, they're massaging the clothes rather than rubbing together and pounding around. So we prolong the life of your clothes.
So what we can see here is an example of a Patagonia sweatshirt that we've actually washed on a normal wash, which you can see on the left-hand side of the picture, and then with the Xeros enabled technology on the right-hand side. So on the normal wash, excuse me, we've actually seen transfer damage, and this is after only 10 washes, because what's happening is that the garments are actually interacting and rubbing against each other in quite a harsh way to cause that transfer damage. And I'm sure that everybody sort of on this webinar can attest to perhaps buying something brand new, washing it a number of times, and then actually find that it's not actually as new anymore, and it's not as box fresh, and they're perhaps a little bit disappointed on it potentially. Whereas within the Xeros system, because of the power of Xorbs being released into the wash and actually acting as a barrier, if you like, between the fabric on fabric harsh action, and it is the power of the Xorbs that actually do wash the fabrics to a higher degree, but are also much more gentle in terms of the interaction on the fabric as well. So on the right-hand side there, you can see that there is very much reduced transfer damage on that Patagonia sweatshirt. So there's that cost saving piece there as well. So if garments are lasting longer, then there's a cost saving element to it as well. So the first piece on fabric care is less transfer damage. The second piece here, just to highlight here, is on this reflective clothing. Now, we'll come on to a case study later on that Ian will go over with regard to one of our customers that is actually using the technology in France. So you can see on the left-hand side the normal wash from the control with 10, 30, and 50 washes. And you can see the damage on that reflective clothing within the normal wash. Exactly the same cycle, but with Xeros technology attached to it. You can see that the damage is significantly reduced when we go down each of those number of washes. Now, what that means then, therefore, is that those garments are lasting longer. The benefits are still there with regard to what Ian said with water saving, energy saving, and detergent saving. But the additional benefit here is that what is being washed is extending the life. So it's not being replaced. It's not costing the company more money to replace those garments. In this case, it's workwear. And you've got the environmental piece on top of it as well.
I've actually seen those garments, Stephen, at your test facility, and it's side by side, and it's quite alarming, actually, isn't it? The contrast.
Absolutely, that's right. It's when you can see stuff on a slide, which is obviously beneficial, but when you see it, you're quite right, Marcus. When you see it actually live in front of you, then it is very, very stark. Also, as well, less creasing. So it's a brilliant benefit again with less creasing. And we keep harking back to it because it's absolutely true. It's the power of the Xorbs really that are stopping this very harsh fabric on fabric sort of tangling, stops the fabrics tangling. It actually pins them down as well because of the weight of the Xorbs. And it means that the garments aren't as creased when they come out of the wash as well. Doesn't come across 100% on the slide, but on the left-hand slide is the Xeros technology, right-hand side is a normal wash. And it means that there's less ironing required. Again, the benefits is less time. And if somebody clearly is doing the ironing, then, there's a cost attached to that as well.
Have you, just on that point, Stephen, have you got any sort of case study numbers on that less ironing as a percentage? Have you done any analysis on that or not?
We've got some data on it, yes. I mean, we've got data on all of the tests that we run. So we can surface that if anybody would like to see that detail. So the other benefit as well is less color fade. So I think once again, as consumers ourselves, many times that I've certainly bought clothes from the shop and you put it in the washing machine. In this case, it's actually for 10 washes that you can see on screen. And then, you'll see that your jumper or your trousers or whatever have actually reduced in color. And what that is caused by, again, is that sort of harsh fabric on fabric action the sort of harsh mechanical action that you get in traditional washing machines from friction that will mean that that fibers are actually destroyed, and you get that redeposition of dyes as well, sort of like the color change. So you can see on the right hand side the Xeros enabled machine, much darker, and then the normal wash on the left hand side. And then once again, once you see this in reality, it really is quite stark. So the Xorbs actually cause less destruction of the cotton fibers in this case. And actually, you know, the nylon material of the Xorbs actually prevents the redisposition of dyes onto the fabrics. And I think, Ian, you've got some Xorbs that
Can you see those? I don't know whether you can see those. So they're the new ones, and they're the ones what have been used. So the dye goes into the exorbs.
yeah, that's right. So the Xorbs will actually collect those dyes. And I think it's important to say at this point that the Xorbs can be used again and again and again. So it's not as if once that happens, they have to be thrown away. That's not the case. They'll actually continue to collect that color. The benefit being is that it's not leaching into other clothes as well. So the color fade is the benefit, but it's not going into other clothes that are in the wash at the same time.
George's is one of our large customers over in France. They've got, I think they've got 19 sites. They're just moving over into Spain as well. They're opening a couple of sites in Spain as well. And they do lots of PPE. So all the workwear for SNCF, for Air France, for Renault, the Notre Dame EDF. So it's all the workwear, all the high vis stuff. As you saw from the slides previously, the high vis clothing lasts a lot longer. One a high vis jacket, for instance, costs about £150 to replace. And if you're saving, they say they're saving between 12 and 18 months extra garment life on the fabrics. So in uniform saving for a year is a £500,000 for them, which is fantastic. But the clothing, rather than being destroyed, is getting reused again. They also found, as you can see on this slide, that when they were cleaning the Eiffel Tower and following the Notre Dame fire, that there was lead found, and instead of the clothing being chucked away, the exorbs attracted all the lead, so the garments came clean without any lead back on them as well. So it's also saved on that as well. George's also say that they wouldn't use anybody else because it's also saving the water, saving the energy, and so on and so forth.
So this is a real life example that's been proven in France, as Ian mentioned, and it's actually being rolled out to other sites now. So although it's a unique, groundbreaking technology, it's not technology that's unproven. It's out there, and it's delivering the benefits that Ian mentioned as well.
So return on investment on a traditional compared to a traditional machine, over a year period, you can save up to £13,000. So on your saving on your water costs, significant saving on the water cost, energy cost, significant saving on the energy cost, and detergent as well. Detergent is going up and up in price, so it's also a significant saving on that. We do a leasing option as well, so depending on how many washes you're doing, you can save up to 65,000 over a 5-year period if you look at it that way. You can also claim tax back on it on a investment purpose, but also saving water. If you're looking at the environment, you can save over a 5-year period up to 3.5 million litres of water, which is not being used as well. So there's lots of cost savings, but there's lots of environmental savings there as well. And we can do an evaluation of your site to see how many washes you're doing and how this can be return on your investment. So it could be as little as 3 months, or it could take up to 18 months, depending on how many washes you use.
I think the important thing to say as well is that this is just one machine. So, you know, if you've got multiple machines in your site, where you've got multiple sites with multiple machines, then this can be extrapolated out. So this is just an example. So as Ian mentioned, you know, it's kind of done on a case-by-case basis with different machine sizes, etc., and different uses clearly that would be attached to that. But as an indication, the cost savings that can be had are pretty big.
I know it's not part of the slide, but Ian and Stephen, but there's also the added benefit of wastewater filtration with Xeros technology, isn't there? Which we haven't touched on.
Absolutely, no, 100%. So, in summary, then, as I mentioned at the start, this is unique technology. It is groundbreaking technology, albeit that it is out there in France, being used and delivering the benefits that we described. It's got significant environmental benefits with 70% water saving, 50% energy, and up to 50% detergent saving. But also, as we've shown you, that it has a huge cost saving as well for your business. The closed care element of it as well, because those Xeros interacting but increasing mechanical action in a very gentle way can actually reduce the shrinkage, less creasing, less transfer damage, color fade, and dye transfer. Microfiber release as well. So a huge number, hundreds of thousands of microfibers are released in every single wash. And what the Xorbs and the X-Drum system will do within the Xeros enabled technology, it'll actually reduce this down by up to 50%. So it also has an additional environmental benefit alongside there as well. So I think all in all, it's something that can deliver all of those benefits and very much can improve the wash performance at the same time as well. So there's no compromise on any particular area.
Okay, thank you. We do have some other resources available. So we have a kind of overview of saving water in your business white paper. It will be a live link when you get the slides. But I'm ready to move over to the questions, if that's all right with our panel.
Sure.
So my first question here is, are there grants available for these products? Who wants to take that?
There are grants available. It's quite specific to region, depending on who the water wholesaler is in the area in which you operate. It's means tested and it's on a case-by-case basis. But if we've got a participant in this webinar who specifically would like more information on grants available for the Xeros-enabled technology, then they really need to get in touch with us, Rachel, one-to-one, so that we can understand who they are, where they operate, and who we need to connect them with.
There's an associated question with that about calculating the ROI. So could you help me with an ROI calculation for my finance team?
Yeah, do you want to take that?
Absolutely, yes. Again, it's case by case. We'd have to look at your previous operation. We'd come out and visit you, do an analysis of what washing you're doing at the moment, and then calculate it against the Xeros technology, and then we could go from there, and then give you your answers back from there.
Right. Has the machine been used in a domestic home? I'm working in the water industry. Working in the water industry, there is a real focus on reducing water across the board, and this product demonstrates brilliant results. So is it suitable for domestic use, or is it predominantly commercial?
I'll take that one. Yeah, it's available now in a commercial setting, but we have developed a system for domestic. It's not in market at the moment, but absolutely, we recognise that those benefits that I described can be translated into domestic as well.
Okay, thank you. I've got a couple of questions about sort of case study type stuff. So who can I talk to in the UK who's using this product?
We have a couple of sites in the UK that already use our product. We're just about to put a new machine in a large hotel down Heathrow Way, so we can use that as a case study as well. They've already got one of our older machines in there. We're just putting a new one in there. We've got a couple of hotels, a couple of laundries that use our technology. I'm speaking to various different people, doing lots of trials elsewhere to get more case studies. So yes, the answer is we can talk to people. We can put you in touch with people. We've got some in the warehouse up at Sheffield where we can use for demonstration machines. I took somebody up there recently he brought some laundry up there. We did some tests and the results spoke for themselves.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any timescales on the domestic setting? Because the questioner would be very interested in expanding on that.
In timescales, in terms of going into market,
I guess, yeah.
yeah, I mean, we are ready to go into market with that. So that's something that we believe will come to market this year, with one of our partners. But I'm more than happy to have that discussion with that particular questioner,
Yeah.
if they want to take that forward.
Absolutely. So the question was asked anonymously, but if they would like to ping us a note using the email on screen, then we can definitely, connect you.
Yeah, great.
Are 100% of the balls collected at the end of each wash?
Yes, they are. The only thing they do get trapped now and again in pockets, so not a lot we can do about that, unfortunately. But yes, they are collected. They're harvested through the fins in the side of the machine. So they've got I think it's called is it Archimedes screw where they go back and they can't come back out, like a non-return valve, and then they go back into the back of the drum ready to be used next time. But yes, they do. Yes, they all get collected. Yes.
And does your machine advise when the balls need replacing?
We do recommend they're replaced every 1,000 washes. That's because of the dye transfer. So as you can see, they start off white and then they end up grey, and that's for the dye transfer. They are all recyclable, so we take them out. We predominantly set up a service contract. That would also depend on what you're washing, how many washes you're doing a day, and so on and so forth. So if you're washing just white, then there's not going to be as much dye transfer, so there won't be as much. But we do recommend 1,000 washes. I know I've got customers that have been doing the same thing for 2,500 washes, and they've not needed to replace them at all. So it depends on a case by case again, when they need replacing. But we've got engineers that will replace them.
Okay, and then how long does a machine last?
How
I mean,
long's a piece of string?
I know, yeah.
Again, it's if it's looked after properly, it could last 10, 20 years and further.
And I assume that there are kind of service contracts and things like
Yes.
that somebody could put in place.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I just checked my private messages. No, I don't think I've got anything else over there. So I think I've reached the end of the questions. So as I said at the beginning, we will get this all processed for you. So we'll package up the video and the video that we played and the slides. And we'll get this out to you via email so that you have all of these materials available to you to watch back and to share. If you do have questions immediately that you would like to speak to us one-to-one, the number for the office and the email address for the office are here, and the whole team picks this up. That's the best way to get hold of us. Thank you very much, Marcus, Ian, and Stephen, for your presentations. And thank you, everybody, for attending. We hope to speak to you sometime very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Cheers, gents.
Thanks.